Every year, fires, floods, tornadoes, and other natural disasters randomly strike thousands of families. Lives are changed forever. Families lose homes, and worse. Many believe disasters don't happen in Sioux Falls or think it won't happen to them. However, we have experienced and continue to have the potential to experience several events, including spring and summer flooding, tornadoes, straight-line winds, ice storms, fires, public health events, and man-made dangers such as hazardous materials incidents and acts of terrorism. We're going to discuss what is being done in Sioux Falls to prepare for disasters in the community and what you can do to protect yourself and your family.
The incident management system's a way that's been developed across the country to utilize resources in an efficient way. If we have a major event happen by using NIMS or the National Incident Management System, we can lay a foundation that we can build upon very easily to handle any type of incident, from a small incident to a very large incident like maybe a mass casualty or hazardous materials. And what it does is essentially it uses the same components regardless of the incident. We have an operations component, we have logistics, getting equipment in, we have a finance branch, a planning branch, so that we can consistently always use the same model regardless of the incident, but we can fill those components as we need them to manage our resources most effectively throughout the incident.
The good thing about an incident command system and unified command is it can be adjusted to work with any situation. So it depends on what the actual incident might be, on who's going to be the lead agency on that. But together you're still going to have all of these key players involved that are going to help with their resources and their equipment to help address that. Say for example, we may have had a public works disaster. They might be the lead agency on that, but they're also going to tap into the resources of law enforcement and health and emergency management. All of those different resources can then come together, and they come up with one incident action plan and address those issues as they work through it. And together as a team, it's a much better approach than we may have done years ago, where each would work separately on that issue.
The Unified Command Group is composed of Sioux Falls Fire, Police, Public Works, Minnehaha and Lincoln County Sheriffs, and the Sioux Falls Public Schools. In addition to local government units, state, federal, city hospital, public utilities, and volunteer agencies are part of the Unified Command Group.
You know, in the school district, where we have probably 23,000 students and 3,000 employees, we not only every day focus on the safe and security of our students, but we see ourselves as a critical entity in this community. And so we celebrate and look for those partnerships endlessly with the city. We work on that training together, we work on education programs together, and you know, for instance, our calling system, we're very thankful that we've been able to help utilize that when there's been a citywide issue or concerns, to better notify parents and constituents of issues. So each day it seems that we're working hand in hand with the city on projects to make sure that, be it natural emergency or a man-made emergency or whatever comes up in the community, we're there to partner and to solve the issue.
The Emergency Operations Center provides a central location where government and community leaders at any level can provide interagency coordination and executive decision-making for managing response and recovery to disasters and emergencies. The Emergency Operations Center is activated when the scope of an incident reaches a level where many agencies need to meet to coordinate and plan response actions.
The City of Sioux Falls Health Department has become a player that sits at the table when we have emergency responses, and we have a role in the community of coordinating and working with the Healthcare Coalition within the City of Sioux Falls. And the Healthcare Coalition is the group of hospitals of Sioux Falls, Avera McKinnon, Sanford, Children's Care, the VA Hospital, and Avera Heart. And then their supporting clinics, and then some long-term care facilities that all work together to meet the health care needs of the city during a time of a disaster. They play an important role in not only supporting the response in our community, but also helping with the communities around us. Those hospitals are all part of a regional planning process within 13 counties where we kind of look at being able to take care of 500 casualties from a mass casualty event. So we do a lot of planning around how would we handle situations as they come up. Or some of the emergency response programs that we work with include things like the Strategic National Stockpile, which is a program that brings in medications, antibiotics or vaccinations, to help treat the entire community in the event that we have a public health emergency. We used that type of planning and process when we did our response to H1N1 in the 2009-2010 flu season.
Minnehaha County, the City of Sioux Falls, and our partners, which can include the school system, the hospitals, various players that have responsibilities in emergencies and disasters on a routine basis, do emergency and disaster exercises. One of the reasons we do them, or a couple of the main reasons, is we need to check the policies, plans, and procedures that we have for fires, floods, tornadoes, those type of incidents. And the way we check them is through exercises. We set up scenarios that are based on real events that have happened in our community and other communities, and we run those exercises to test the training of our people, to test the policies, to test the equipment, to test other resources that might be brought in. So emergency and disaster exercises are very important to test the overall readiness of our disaster plans that we have in Minnehaha County and the City of Sioux Falls.
The city is a participant with the National Flood Insurance Program, and why we try to do that is, again, it's a good thing for the community as a whole as well as each individual participant. I think it's nice for the whole community to understand what the city's trying to do with that National Flood Insurance Program is to protect the health, safety, and individual property rights of all the citizens of Sioux Falls. You can't always make a determination of when the flood's going to come or how much flooding is going to take place, but if we look at it prior to flooding, then we can do a good job of being a participating agency.
Damages from flooding and sewer backups are not covered under a standard homeowner's policy. Check with your insurance agent to make sure you are covered. In addition, renters should ensure that they have insurance coverage on their personal property. For more information on flood insurance, visit www.floodsmart.gov.
The City of Sioux Falls has a flood control system that consists of a diversion dam, a diversion channel, and a spillway, and then also a greenway system around the city. And this system basically is in place to protect the city during spring runoff events on the Big Sioux River and large rain events that occur on the Skunk Creek Channel. The diversion channel itself provides the city with the ability to divert water north around the city through a 3-mile segment rather than through the 16-mile river segment that runs through the city itself. In using the diversion dam, the city coordinates with the USGS service to check monitoring stream flow gauges upstream of the city along Skunk Creek and the Big Sioux River. These gauges allow us real-time data that can tell us the amount of water coming through the Big Sioux and the Skunk Creek, and also the elevations of that water as it comes towards the city. We use this information to set the diversion channel and diversion dam gates elevations so we know how much water we need to pass through that system. The city works continuously on our internal storm sewer system within the city to ensure that properties are not flooded due to intense rainfalls occurring within the city itself. These systems are constantly studied and updated as needed with new pipes replacing old pipes, that type of thing. All these piping systems are modeled and to ensure they have adequate capacity. And as they approach the flood control system, the levee systems, we have FEMA-approved outfall structures that have flap gates on them to prevent water from the rivers backing up into those systems, and also a redundant system in sluice gates that can be shut down if the flap gates fail to keep that river water from backing up into the city itself.
So what steps can you take to protect your family? Get a kit, make a plan, and be informed. First, get a kit.
It's really important that every household has an emergency supply kit, And it's pretty basic. You don't need to go spend a whole bunch of money getting these things ready. The purpose of it is to have the things that you would normally have in your home. So to start out, even just put a box in the living room and start tossing things in as you think about what you need in there. Rubbermaid totes work great, also coolers on wheels. If you can get something on wheels, it's a whole lot easier during a disaster. And the kinds of things that you want to put in there food-wise is going to be food and water for your family, for each person, for about 72 hours. Peanut butter works great. Definitely put things in there that you like to eat. Rice cakes are terrible on the best day of your life, so they're going to be really bad on the worst day of your life. So you need to make sure you have stuff that you actually like to eat. Getting some energy drinks that have electrolytes in them is really great for you. Also, it's not a bad idea just to have a little junk food bag. Also, you want to make sure you have some plates and silverware and things like that. Can opener. For personal hygiene items, make sure that every family member has the stuff that they're going to need. If you have a baby, have some baby stuff, stuff for the women, the men, the kids. Another great thing to have is something for the kids to do and for yourself to do. So a deck of cards, some crayons, coloring books. And then also, as far as the kids go, it's really important that you get your kids involved in the disaster preparedness. It may be that the disaster happens while you've run to the grocery store or something. They need to know what to do and where the supplies are. So to help get them involved, vacuum bags work great. Have the kids decorate them, put their own stuff in there, suck the air out, doesn't take up a whole lot of space. It's a great way to get your kids involved in your disaster preparedness. As far as the emergency goes, other good things to have are definitely some cleaning supplies. There's a lot of germs going around during disasters. Flashlight and batteries. Keep the batteries separate from the flashlight. First aid kits that's suitable to your family. You don't need a whole giant EMT bag, just a reasonable first aid kit. Some trash bags. They can be used as shelters, raincoats to bag up your belongings. Also paper towels. A blue tarp is always great to have. Definitely duct tape, because why wouldn't you? Bug spray. A lot of bugs come out after the disasters, some work gloves, and tools to shut off your own utilities. So these are all things that you can start putting together in your disaster kit for your family so that when a disaster happens, you're prepared to take care of yourselves and perhaps even a neighbor. Also to have in your kit is just some important documents, even photocopies of a driver's license, your social security card, a list of where your money is, your bank accounts, and also a list of phone numbers. Sometimes cell towers go down during disasters and you're not able to dial by name anymore. So you'll actually need to know people's phone numbers. So make sure you do have a list of phone numbers, and it's important that you have on there at least one person out of state that you can call to notify that you've had a disaster and your family's okay, and then let them call around to everybody else so that you aren't taking up the phone lines, and because you're probably gonna have a lot of work to do, so let somebody else do the calling for you. Immediately after the disaster, it's important to know where your family and loved ones are. So right now is the time to make a plan on where you're gonna meet. Make sure that you're also checking in with your neighbors. Make sure that they're okay as well. So plan a place to meet, plan how you're gonna communicate, and pick two places, and pick something that's strong and sturdy that will still be there perhaps after a tornado goes through. The mailbox might not be there. So make sure you're picking somewhere that the family is very well aware of and that's close to your home.
Next, make a plan.
The City of Sioux Falls maintains an extensive system of outdoor warning sirens. This system is designed to be an early warning device primarily for residents who are outside their homes and away from TV and radio coverage. Don't count on the siren to wake you up when you're asleep or to get your attention above background noise of your home or car. Outdoor warning sirens are not frequently heard in homes during spring and summer months for multiple reasons, such as distance from the sirens, homes being shut up with air conditioners running, and people being asleep during nighttime storms with thunder, rain, and wind. For this reason, emergency management officials highly recommend citizens keep a programmable NOAA weather alert radio in their homes, preferably in the bedroom with tone alert. Outdoor warning sirens are activated only when an imminent threat to life and property exists. There are no all-clear siren activations. The outdoor warning system is tested on the first Friday of each month at 11 a.m. The City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha, and Lincoln County, the state of South Dakota, and the federal government all have extensive emergency operations plans.
The City of Sioux Falls has developed an emergency preparedness guide to give you specific information on how to plan for and respond to disasters in the community. The guide is available on www.siouxfalls.org or by calling 367-8753. Finally, be informed.
Well, the Helpline Center is an agency that provides services for almost everyone in the city of Sioux Falls. We provide our 211 phone number, which is available 24 hours a day, and that's for people to access information about nonprofit services, government services, social service programs. So if people are looking for food, clothing, shelter, financial assistance, or child care, you can dial 211. One of the most important roles that the Helpline Center plays in the city of Sioux Falls is to be available during a time of disaster. So the 211 phone number is made accessible to people to dial when they're looking for information before the disaster happens, as an example, in preparing for a flood. If you need to find out where sandbags are, or is my home in the floodplain, that kind of thing, we're available for that. We also work very closely with the Emergency Operations Center when a disaster does strike to promote the 211 phone number as a resource for people to call if they're looking for assistance, whether it's a tornado or a flood or high winds, some kind of damage has happened, and where do they go for help, where do they go for assistance? 211 is a phone number that people can access for that. The 211 helpline is also a very important point to access volunteer opportunities during the time of disaster. When something happens in the community, whether it's a flood or a tornado, many people want to reach out to help. And so the best way to do that is to coordinate that effort. And so those spontaneous volunteers can dial 211 during that time of disaster, and we'll connect them where they're needed the most and where they can help our community the most during that time of disaster.
Severe weather can strike very quickly in South Dakota. It's important that you not only have a plan for your family, but also for your pets. And it is also important that you prepare before a disaster. Keep things available, such as a leash, supplies of food, medical records, and tags for your dog. Most Red Cross shelters do not allow pets. You need to make sure that you have a plan for your animal to be housed somewhere safely before a disaster strikes. If you must leave your animal behind, please make sure that it is loose inside of your house and safely has access to fresh water and at least 2 weeks' supply of food. Also make sure you contact your local animal control and humane society with any vital health information of your pet and the location of your pet so they can be safely returned to you if agencies need to go in and remove the animal. Although many times we do encourage people to keep collars and tags on their animals that notify us of current rabies vaccinations and also of owner information, sometimes these tags can be lost or torn off of the collar. A microchip is a small grain of rice size identifier that is embedded inside of an animal's skin. The microchip is usually between the shoulder blades of an animal. Animal control agencies and humane societies have access to readers that allow us to access owner information from the microchip. This way it prevents animals from losing their identification tags.
I'm Todd Heitkamp with the National Weather Service here in Sioux Falls, and the National Weather Service is responsible for issuing watches, warnings, and forecasts for the tri-state area, including the city of Sioux Falls. Well, what we've seen recently is we should all realize that there's nothing that protects the city, including the city of Sioux Falls. The river, the terrain, there's not a global warm air over the city of Sioux Falls. Nothing protects the city of Sioux Falls from a tornado other than the actions that the people take themselves. Yeah, the main thing we want people to do is to understand the difference between a watch and a warning. When we issue a watch, that means conditions are favorable for that event to occur. That does not mean for certain that it will. We just want you to pay closer attention to what is going on around you by listening to the weather radio, commercial radio, and also watching TV. But when we issue a warning, that means severe weather is ongoing or is imminent into your area. We want you to do one and only one thing, and that's to get to your place of safety as soon as possible. One thing that we want people to do is to stay informed, and the way you can do that is by listening to your weather radio. Weather radio is a 24-hour broadcast from the National Weather Service, and the main thing is that it alerts you, the general public, of an impending severe weather threat by waking you up in the middle of the night by having the alert going off at that point in time. It's not only weather radio, but it's an all-hazards radio. We work in close cooperation with the City of Sioux Falls to enhance your safety by broadcasting local information such as evacuation notifications and sheltering information. As you've seen, the City of Sioux Falls, the National Weather Service, and the media all work together to enhance your safety. But ultimately, it's up to you. It's up to you to have a plan.
We have reviewed natural and man-made hazards that affect Sioux Falls, community efforts to prepare for and minimize loss to life and property, and steps you should take to prepare your family. Being prepared now and knowing what to do when disasters strike can make all the difference. Disasters do happen, and your community is prepared and ready to respond. When disaster strikes Sioux Falls, will you be ready? For more information on emergency preparedness and what you can do to prepare your family, go to www.siouxfalls.org or www.bereadysd.com or call Sioux Falls Emergency Management at 367-8753.
You know, probably one of the hardest things in this job is to knock on a parent's door and tell them their son or daughter isn't coming home. To see the pain in their face and to understand how that will affect them for the rest of their lives is heart-wrenching. Underage drinking and driving is not only unacceptable, but it can cost them their lives. I think if you talk to every police officer who's made that long walk up the sidewalk to someone's home to tell them their son or daughter will never come home again, I think that they would tell you most of these deaths are totally preventable. And the best person to prevent that is a parent.
Life has consequences. And the talk happens every day of life. What we choose to do, how we choose to do it, who we choose to do it with. And so the talk is ongoing. The talk never ends.
You know, we've always kept an open dialogue with our children. And it's not always been easy, but we've stressed the points that they know are true, and maybe they don't want to hear them, but they sink in. So we've never given up. We've persevered in letting our children know where we stand. We've modeled it ourselves. We don't drink and drive. So we have grounds to speak that truth into our children.
If you have been modeling drinking and driving, don't beat yourself up. Just change. Make a new start.
The talk wasn't hard for me. The earlier you start, the more natural it's going to be. I said, Jara and Garrett, driving while drinking or riding with someone who's been drinking isn't acceptable, ever. Just takes one time. If you mess up, there can be huge consequences. And you have to live with those consequences. And it may not just affect you. I also said, I love you, I trust you. When you love your child, it's not a hard talk to have.
I just want to encourage parents that you do matter. Every child wants to hear from their father and their mother. They want to be encouraged. We raised our children with the value of life, and life is so precious. We've instilled these values into our children and got them to think, why jeopardize this life? Why take a chance and risk the abundance of the life that you have ahead of you?
You have to just believe that they're going to make the right decisions that you're showing them.
So the parents are vital. It's essential that the parents have this conversation with their children. Their children want to hear what the parents have to say.
Parents do matter, and what you have to say to your kids matters. They want to hear from you.
Parents want to be their child's best friend. So you'll hear things like, well, they're going to take his keys away. I can introduce you to parents who lost their son because he got his keys back. Someone can tell you that it's a risk somebody takes and it will only affect them. I can introduce you to parents who lost their daughter getting a ride home, killed by a teen who had ignored the laws and chose to drive drunk. Talking to your kids is never easy on this kind of a subject. It's kind of the tough love thing. but it's really important. A parent having that conversation with their kid not only can save them a lot of worry and grief, but it can save their child's life.
It's not about trust, it's about love. I would tell you as a parent, just start asking questions, because they're getting educated by their peers. And to find out really what's been talked about, you have to ask the questions. I don't think that it's a parent's job to be their kid's friend. But I really think that parents are an example. Your kids are always watching you, and you are models for your kids. So what you say is equally as important as what you do. Even though you're not going to be a friend in the eyes of your kids, your love is displayed by accountability and rules.
The parents are such a key part in preventing these teen deaths. If you think your kid doesn't have access to alcohol, you're sadly mistaken. And the ingredients for tragedy are underage drinking and driving, and either driving that vehicle or being a passenger in that vehicle. It has deadly results. And as a parent, you need to have those tough conversations and let them know what your expectations are. Let them know that this isn't about control. This is about how much you love them. And parents have a tremendous impact, whether they think they're being listened to or not. They do matter. And parents like to think, you know, someday I'll have that conversation. I think there's some parents that wish they had. From my experience and witnessing firsthand when mistakes happen, the best chance to avoid having someone like me or one of our officers knock on their door is to have that tough conversation with your kids. And to do that now, not next week, not next year, but to have that conversation now. Parents matter. Have the talk, and then have it again and again.